welcome back to The Details, episode 3. Today I want to really get into kind of the curation of the details through the wedding process, and then use that as a support for you if you are planning an upcoming event or an activation or something that requires you to have this creative vision and really bring that to life. And I feel like that is really what happened through the wedding. It was definitely the largest event that I put together in terms of a creative vision. I mean, I wasn't the one who put flowers out and, put together the rock wall, but it was more so like communicating a vision. So that's kind of like what I want to talk about today and kind of go through some of the details and share a little bit about some of the things that I let go. And yeah, that'll be interesting because at the end of the day, there are so many things that you can have at your wedding. And I think the whole process for me really helped me to figure out what was a priority and what did I want to let go. And so I want to kind of get into that. So I guess whenever I'm planning an event, whether it's for the business or for my actual life, I always have a vision board. It's a mood board, something that I am starting to collect photos of, colors of, place mats, of flowers, and as I'm creating this mood board and this vision board, the question that I'm asking myself is, what do I want my guests to feel? How do I want them to feel? How do I want them to feel during the experience? What emotions do I want to create through what I'm going to have at this event? So when it came to my wedding, it was a September wedding. For us was definitely like we were both so aligned on that. We love this time of year. It is truly magical with what the weather is doing. The physical colors are changing on the leaves is why I'm recording this outside today. It's just absolutely beautiful. And so we knew we wanted September. And so for us it was early September, so it was still technically summer, but we had it in September. And so it was like, okay, we're gonna do browns, we're gonna do these kind of like moodier terracotta rust colors, and then we're also gonna have like sprinkles of like dusty rose and mauves. So that was kind of like the direction for the colors. And when it came to like the feelings, people would ask like how I wanted my guests to feel, and what I kept saying was, I want them to feel joyful. I want my wedding to be fun. I want it to feel magical, mystical, enchanted. As I was curating some of the mood board, I started realizing a lot of like Taylor Swift Evermore vibes started coming through, and I actually walked out to the instrumental of Willow. It was a piano version of Taylor Swift's Willow. So, very much this mystical, enchanted forest. We had our guests walk through a literal forest that was lit with candles. There was florals all lining the top of our ceremony to create a really intimate experience. So I would say, think about the type of experience that you're wanting. Do you want your experience to feel more intimate? Do you want it to feel more open and free-flowing, or do you want it to feel contained? Because there's certain things you can do to create that feeling of containment. I'm just looking at my photos here. And then, this rock wall, right? Like, I would say thinking about whatever is going to be like the centerpiece of your event. It's always good to have something that draws the eye, that's kind of like the staple piece, right? You could think about this even in terms of interior design. They always say, to have your one staple piece of furniture. So it's going to be that one thing that draws everyone in. And for us, it was this rock wall. So there was this wall that had been built up, and it had several large boulders, and I just wanted that thing jam-packed with candles. I wanted it to feel really romantic. And so that's what we did. We had that rock wall just filled with these really beautiful candles. And then we lined our aisles with flowers and candles as well. When it came to the settings and the tables for eating, we literally wanted to recreate how we would do Thanksgiving dinner in my house. And so we recreated our plates. I have black plates that were gifted to me by my sister. We did the black silverware, the black chargers. We had the rust napkins, and then of course we had the flowers throughout with the different candles, and the votive holders also, those were kind of that amber color. The other thing that we did, and I love this, especially if you're doing any kind of serving, you can literally go to Michael's and you can get these long pieces of fabric and you just put those as your table runners, and you can get them in any color. For our wedding, we chose to do like that kind of mauve, I would say it was like a darker mauve color running through with multicolored candles. One thing about me is I'm always gonna have candles. I love the moodiness that candles creates, and I just feel like lighting is so important. I didn't realize how important lighting was until I became a homeowner, and I feel like now lighting is just so important. Like, we've changed out our light fixtures in our house and swapped them out for different light fixtures because it's one of those things that's subtle, but it's like a big deal. The other thing I want to talk through is regarding inclusivity, and so that's like been a huge value for me through my business, The Breathing Teacher, and then also just in life. And I actually received such incredible feedback about the fact that we had not only a champagne wall, but we also had on the champagne wall a non-alcoholic option, and it was really beautiful. It was labeled like 0 proof or something, and when you create opportunities for people, for everyone to participate in the toast, it really meant something to this one friend. And you know, whether someone came and they were pregnant, and there were several people who were at my wedding, or who just are sober, having those, taking that extra mile and making sure that you're incorporating things that everyone can participate in. If you're serving food, you want to make sure you're getting the dietary restrictions of the people that are, you know, attending your event, so that if you have purchased a dairy dessert and you have several dairy-free people coming, they won't be able to partake, and then it's a waste of your money. So you want to really make sure you're asking, like, what is it that people need, if you feel like you want to accommodate that. A couple other things to note too. So once we have this vision board and we've decided how we want people to feel and what it is that we want them to be experiencing, I like to usually backwards plan, and from there, that's how I'll kind of go through the different aspects of the event, starting with the beginning and then working through the end, and then you just kind of like curate it piece by piece that way. So that's kind of like me taking you through the decor, the cocktail hour, which I was not a part of. We were taking photos, and getting into, you know, I explained the tables to eat. So I think that really, like, something that I really learned from this experience is that it is so possible for your vision to come to life, but if you don't have a vision, oftentimes it's dictated for you. So while there are certain things that I decided to let go, one of those, I'll give you an example. I really wanted those like big rustic letters, and we looked up options to say J&R, we looked up options to say love, and I think the cheapest option was like $386, and we weren't going to get to keep these letters. We'd have to give them back. And it was just like, it got to that point where it's like, okay, do we want to put our funds that way, or could that be something that we're using towards our home renovation or towards something else? So that's kind of something to think about as well. Like, is what you're springing for gonna drastically change the energy, the vibe? Is it something you can keep? Is it sustainable? Like I was thinking of getting those like, what do you call them? Like like sparklers, or like those things that when you're doing your dancing, when you're dancing on the dance floor. I cannot think of the word right now. Like, not glow sticks, but like, I don't know, just, I was like, this is just gonna go in the garbage. So there's certain things that we just decided to just not invest our money in. And then finally, I want to talk about food, because that is always like the thing that brings people together. For our specific wedding, we had the option of working with a caterer through our venue. But it was really important to us to have food that was a synergy of our cultures, Puerto Rico and Jamaica. And so we ended up finding this one caterer who is actually located in Parma, the Twisted Taino, and we went to a tasting, and it was like pernil and yuca and rice and peas, and it was just like this beautiful blend of our cultures, and we fell in love. And so that's who we had cater. And so I think when it comes to food, it's really thinking about like, what do you want your guests to feel? What do you want them to experience? For us, we wanted them to feel like they were home, like they were eating a part of our culture. And so once you decide that, you can decide, okay, am I going for just small bites? Am I going for like a table charcuterie board? Am I looking to cater prepackaged meals, right? There's an event sometimes I attend, a networking event, where she gets these prepackaged meals, and then you can choose the veggie option, the chicken option, the beef option. And so there are some options that way once you figure out what the needs of your guests are. So I will go ahead and link my Pinterest mood board and a couple of other helpful links in case you are in the process of curating an event. But just know that your creativity is genius, and trust your vision, and trust that it is going to be absolutely authentic to who you are, because that's what happens when you trust. Thanks for watching.